Welcome to another episode of the Don Dvais Real Estate Show. It's your host, Don Dvais of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, broadcasting live from 6161 Savoy KKHT. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. We're broadcasting live here in the studio with Mrs. Nguyen, one of our past clients who we've had the privilege of working with, and just want to welcome her to the show.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome. And Mike, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell people exactly how we met, how you got into your profession, and where do you see yourself going from now, and just kind of elaborate on our experience.
So I've been at Momentum BMW for the last 10 years. I'm actually the general sales manager at the Southwest location. I actually met Don through a real estate transaction. We had a property in Midtown that we were struggling trying to sell, and I think it originated with maybe misinformation. We found a realtor, we worked with a realtor, and I think we were coming out of the gate with the wrong comps. So I share that because we cruised along for 6 months. 6 months, a couple of people walked in, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the home was just overpriced. And I share this because it's really important to find a realtor that knows what they're doing, knows what they're looking for, and knows the area, that they specialize in, which really helps, because once we found Don, I found him on the internet. He had great reviews, so on and so forth. We interviewed him. We liked him. He pulled his information. He pulled the comps. He narrowed down the search, and he was like, guys, this is where you need to be. This is where you need to be in pricing. And here we go. It was like 45 days later, the property got sold.
Well, that's awesome. And I really appreciate that. Matter of fact, what we found is the initial price was actually a lot higher than what was the accurate price for the area. Actually, it was a few years behind, and since that happened, we actually end up riding the market for quite some time because we just didn't have the right price. And that's very important. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the absorption rate is not what the purchase price was at that time. It's not what the past purchase price was. It's what a buyer and seller is willing to pay today. People say, what is my current market value? And it's not what you paid for. It's not what you sold it for. It's what the buyer and the seller are agreed upon paying in it today.
Right, I agree.
And do you run into that in the so you say Momentum BMW? Mm-hmm. Kind of give us some history on that, and because I tell you, even though I'm in real estate, I'm definitely a fan of the luxury auto sales business. Mm-hmm. I think that's very important. Mm-hmm. That you understand marketing in other industries mm-hmm. to better serve your industry. Do you run into pricing and volume and things like that? Speak that in your language, if you don't mind.
Well, I mentioned I've been with Momentum BMW for the last 10 years. Within the 10 years, I spent 7 years as a car sales associate, and I sold quite a few cars. I sold 30 cars a month. Right, that puts me on the map for BMW selling. That's number 3 in the U.S. So I did well. The business model has changed quite a bit, just because the automotive business is constantly changing, and with the transparency of the internet, the pricing has to coincide with that. So many years ago, we were selling 120 cars. We sell 350 cars plus now. So it's purely volume. The pricing is set. We do our market research within 1,800 to 2,500 miles. So we know, the type of merchandise that we have is in line and is the lowest in the market. So when a customer comes in, most of the time they've done their research before they call in, before they send an internet inquiry. All that legwork is done. So when they come in, they actually get to sit and drive the car, spend a little bit of time with the sales advisor, and the price is fixed. And it's the lowest price out there. So the customer just thinks it's a seamless process. And
that's very important. So, because our industry is running into that as we speak. As a matter of fact, you mentioned it, you hit on it. People in our industry are wondering, why are we getting such a hard push on discounted realtors? And the hard push is becoming transparent because of all the information that you can find online. Right now, the customer, like you said, in your industry and our industry, they have access to so many tools that they know so much information about the product that they want. The client usually asks for a discount because of the information that's providing on the internet. So what we have to do in your industry, in my industry, as we have to better serve to give them that BMW experience, that somebody's willing to pay for, instead of going down Highway 6 and just buying a car off the side of the road.
And sometimes too, you still have the occasional client that comes in and they still want to negotiate, even though you're the lowest priced vehicle out there. And I share with them this. I said, do you want me to increase the car by $5,000 to discount it an additional $3,000? Because basically at the end of the day, it's not about the discount. Okay. It's about what you're paying for. The actual selling price of the vehicle, and I can correlate that to the real estate business too. There's so many realtors that are out there, and there's just so many that are just not that good. 10% of the realtors are the ones that dominate the business.
Exactly.
And it's not about, the realtor's commission and this and that, and whoever's going to give me the best deal. Yeah, well, that 1%, that 0.5% that you're negotiating will cost you way more if you wind up with someone who doesn't really know what they're doing.
Exactly. So it's not just about the price of the vehicle. It's not about the promotion, like you said, the market up to market down. The Foley's Red Apple sale is what we used to call it, where basically we know the sticker price is this, but we know you're going to come in and negotiate, so we mark it up to market down. But what we're running into now is time is money, and people don't have time to play games. What's the retail price of the vehicle? What's the mileage? Does it have a good, clear Clue report, Carfax report? And then also, you guys, as far as the technology, as far as marketing, your CMAs, my CMA usually goes about 1 mile to 5 miles out. You just mentioned that you go how far to? We
go 1,500 to 2,500 miles. And as a volume dealer, we want to make sure we capitalize just not the market within our city, but we see a lot of customers who purchase cars. We never see them. A transporter actually comes up, picks up these cars. We'll do a visual walk around, a video walk around for these clients, and they're purchasing price, so they'll pay for those additional things that we're just not responsible for.
And that's awesome. So you really have a handle on the market. When you go 1,500 to 2,000 miles out and your product is the best price, the best value, because sometimes it's not about being the cheapest, it's about presenting the best value in the area, then you're definitely going to be ahead of the competition. And you mentioned once again being invited to GSM University, I believe it's called. And you said they took how many people out of how many people to be selected for that?
So one of the things that I'm very grateful for working for Sonic Automotive is there's a lot of internal growth. Like I mentioned to Don before, I moved through the ranks as a sales client advisor, and I became the director, the general sales manager, and now I am in a GM academy, so it's 7 weeks throughout the year, and every single week you attend a training boot camp, and they cover different facets of the automotive business. So like right now I'm responsible for sales and finance. 1 week you're going to spend time in service. 1 week you're going to spend time in accounting, so you can understand the financial planning analysis part, and just pretty much by the time you graduate, you're prepared to run your own store.
And that's very important, continuing education. Everybody knows last week's episode was all about continuing education, but not only continuing education, but being selected as the top tier. So that way everybody in the room is iron sharpening iron. It's people with like minds that think alike to make sure the dealership is one of the most profitable dealerships in the area. How many dealerships do y'all have in Houston?
We have 132 stores across the U.S. There are 16 in Houston.
16 in Houston. And you guys are number one, right?
Yes, we're number one out of the 132 stores for net profit revenue and volume.
Wow, net profit revenue and volume. So in our business, in the real estate business, that would be equivalent to sales volume, GCI, gross commission income, and units sold. So there's a lot of similarities in each business. I really think the real estate business, if you look at the Open Doors and Redfins, they are all mimicking the luxury automobile business, and we're doing everything we can to be like you are. Well, that was an introduction, and we're going to go ahead and head to our first break. Keep in mind, love's going to get you. Love where you live. DDLRG live on the Don Dvais Real Estate Show. Thank you. I am Don Dvais of DDLRG Luxury International Real Estate, and when it's time to make a business decision about your residence, please keep in mind it's a Don deal.
You want to excel. Don Dvais is a great guy to work for. I mean, he's a great teacher and a great leader.
He's more than family. He's the guy that's actually helping me roll. I didn't know anybody when I moved out here. He's the guy rolling his sleeves up saying, come on, let's go move what you got to move.
When it's time to make a business decision about your residence, it's a Don deal. All right, we're back with 100.7 KKHT Don Dvais Real Estate Show. Live in the studio, Miss Mai from Momentum BMW. Definitely has some tenure with Momentum. Definitely one of the top managers, you were one of the top salespeople, and you definitely are looking to grow the store and take it to the next level. You also mentioned that you also started off in the home builder business for a while. How did that prepare you for the auto business?
I did. I started actually really young. I was around 21, 22 years old. I only did it for 2 years. But it's a different grind,
yes.
Right? They're both different businesses. However, they're very similar. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I always told myself, and I always share with people, is no matter what we do, it's very important sometimes we get lost in the day-to-day grunt, the day-to-day grind that we find and we try to serve with some type of purpose. So at Momentum BMW, the way, even though my days are tough sometimes, I realize that there are lives that I impact, because we are really big on internal growth. We don't really recruit. I don't hire headhunters, to facilitate the salespeople. We don't have a sign in the front, that says, hey, hiring for sales, this and that. What I've been able to do is find an avenue internally to promote associates who plateaued, in their job or in their position, so to take an associate who makes, I don't know, let's give an example, 1,500 to 2,000, to 2 or 3 or 4 times that type of income, and teaching them some type of skill set, and actually guiding them through their career really changes many lives, and that's pretty gratifying.
And that's very similar to our business as well, but I definitely like how you actually don't use headhunters. You don't go out and put a sign in front of the dealership interviewing anybody that needs a job. That way you prevent a high turnover, and you attract instead of recruit. We mentioned that earlier, the importance of a strong business has to attract instead of recruit. And if you attract the right personnel, you can help them impact their lives and take their income to the next level, which is very important in any industry. You want somebody like our song for our show, our chorus is "Love's Gonna Get You." You want somebody who not only loves where they live, but loves what they do. If you don't love what you do, please go find something to do that you love, because it definitely impacts not only the person themselves. They won't have the right attitude,
right?
And but it also impacts the consumer as well. So Don Dvais Luxury Realty Group, we love what we do. That's a matter of fact, our saying is "Love's Gonna Get You." And you being in the auto industry that long lets me know you truly love the business. And when you love it, you take it to the next level to further educate yourself, to find out how to be the best in the industry, not out of pride, but just out of appreciation of the business, to know you're changing lives, not only for the customers, but for your staff.
And it's very true. These businesses, whether it be real estate or in the automotive business, it's constantly changing, revolving. The clientele is different, the millennials, and the buying decision is different. The way we communicate is different. And unless we can adapt and be willing to adjust, just the many styles of how we do business. I mean, if not, you're just going to get left behind.
And I totally agree. People say, Don, are you the best real estate agent out there? No, I'm the best hybrid agent. And what I mean by that, I can speak old school real estate, I can speak MLS book, or I can speak MLS app. So you have to be able to transition with the technology of the baby boom, the technology of the millennials, and then you also have to understand the education of the baby boomers. And when you blend those two together, you have a powerful hybrid in no matter what industry you're in. But at the same time, you have an appreciation for both, because as much as I like the millennials, they still have a lot to learn from the baby boomers, and the baby boomers can learn a lot from the millennials. I mean, I've seen millennials take a product and make it better in a matter of 3 years, where the baby boomers waited 30 years to make it better. So I think it's a great combination for success, not only in the auto industry, but for the real estate industry as well. So I just definitely wanted to touch on that. We're going to go ahead and go to another break. Keep in mind, love's going to get you. Love where you live, but most important, like Maya just said, love where you work and love what you do. Attract the right people and your business will grow. right, we're back. Well, once again, we have Mai with BMW in the studio. It's one of the top GSMs in the country. Can I say that, or I want to be able to validate what I say?
Sure.
One of the top GSMs in the country. We have a lot of real estate agents that call themselves top before they're top. So that's one of my pet peeves. So I want to make sure you're top. We want to be able to validate that. But I do know DDLRG is one of the top luxury boutique firms in the greater Houston area. We're located at 50 Briar Hollow on the 5th floor, just below Martha Turner. Just letting you know that we're a millennial luxury coming to you. And wanted to definitely invite Mai into the studio onto the Don Dvais Real Estate Show because like I said, we just helped her sell her condominium and it was a great experience. Do you see anything else out there in the real estate industry? You mentioned your property was listed before for right at 6 months. Do you see anything else? I mean, as far as the activity of you interviewing agents when you purchased your home, your new home, what do you see out there that could be done better? Because once again, I think we learn a lot from the luxury auto industry, and some clients, I'm all giving instructions, telling everybody you need to do this, you need to do that. But with you, I knew right away that you could contribute as much as I could contribute, and we could work together to get your property sold. So what else do you see in the real estate industry that you've learned in the auto industry that might help us?
Well, I think in today's market, on both of the industries, I think reviews just don't lie. And a lot of times because there's so many options out there, sometimes as a consumer, you get very overwhelmed, with, oh my God, I need to sell my home. Who can help me? I heard from this guy, my dad has somebody, my uncle's referring me, this person, that person. But ultimately, at the end of the day, as a consumer, you have to take the time and interview these. The interview can be 5, 10, 15 minutes. Just pick up the phone, ask a few questions, ask the same question, to different realtors. And a lot of times, you'll know if there's chemistry that's there. And I can tell you, having a conversation with someone for 1 minute or 30 seconds, I can sort of tell, am I going to get along with this person? Are they like a type A type of personality? Will they be able to do a good job representing myself? And from there, you have to look at the reviews. Just because the market is saturated with too many people who do this line of work, but not many can do it very, very well.
Exactly. So that's very important. That's the importance of just because you qualify, just because you took the real estate exam doesn't mean you're called to the position. So we talked about that today. I'm always going to throw something out from Lakewood Church. We had a guest pastor named Steve Furtick from Elevation Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he mentioned the fact that people used to always call him unqualified. So instead of taking that as a negative, he went ahead and wrote a book called Unqualified But Called. And what that simply means is, like you said earlier, is knowing that you're called to that business and having a love for the business to where when you work a 12-hour shift, you're not going crazy saying, I hate this job, can't wait to get out of here. But you know what you signed up for. You know who you're there to help, and you know what your purpose is on earth. And that's very important that we identify our purposes, and that way we're able to maximize our potential. And so it's very funny that you and your fiance, he kind of switched roles. He was in the auto industry and went to the home selling industry. You're in the home selling industry and went to the auto industry.
Right.
But at the same time, you guys are still doing what you love. And like I say, I'm very happy to have met both of you. Do you have anything else to say before I jump out there and tell everybody about the properties we have currently for sale?
Yes, I actually do. You guys, if you're if you're looking for the right realtor, right? And I am the hardest critic, okay? And I am like the hardest consumer because after 12 hours, I just don't have a lot of time. But when I'm out there, I'm ready to make a buying decision. But I need someone who I can partner with who understands. Give me the information, take me through the process. This is your line of work, and give me the advice possible so I can make the best decision. If you're looking for someone who is organized, who can keep you informed, he has the proper tools online. Every time there's a showing, you can see how many people. You don't even have to call him. You don't even have to talk to him. Everything is online. How many showings, how many clicks, on which website, where the exposure is coming from, which website it's coming from. He has invested money in his business to where you are well informed. And that's very, very important for me because after working long days, sometimes I just don't want to talk to someone. I just go online and all my information is there. So I highly recommend Don.
I gladly appreciate that, Mrs. Ma. You just don't realize, because I think that's one of my biggest challenges when I'm after for sale by owners is it's not that you guys are not smart enough to sell your house. If you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a GM, you could sell your own house if that was your full-time job. But when you decide to sell your own house, now you just put yourself into two careers, and that's not profitable. Just like we all could cut our own yards. We were just talking about landscaping earlier. We can cut our own yards. But at the same time, if you know you're the DJ and you need to be at the studio, you know, hey, right now I need to delegate.
That's right.
And some people say you have to delegate to elevate.
That's right.
But sometimes we get caught up doing other things.
But you got to delegate to the right people.
You have to delegate to the right people, and that's why you attract talent instead of recruit talent.
That's right.
So it was very, very ironic also that you mentioned that you found your personal assistant versus somebody assigning you a personal assistant. That's right. Because you got to know that they're really on your team.
That's right.
And so I think all that's great. I have just as much respect and admiration for you, and I really appreciate the reviews of our transaction, because, like I say, when I'm talking to somebody who I know is a professional and knows the business, it was somewhat intimidating at first, but I just knew I needed to bring my A game, and so I did everything we could to go ahead and get you taken care of in the best way possible, as quick as possible. For my current sellers that have not made it to the closing table yet, Maya's already made it to the closing table. Congratulations.
Thank you, Don.
It's a Don deal for real.
Definitely a Don deal for sure.
It's a Don deal for Maya.
It's a running joke around the household all the time. My boyfriend says it my fiance says it 100 times a day.
It's a Don deal now. So it's definitely a Don deal for Maya, but for my other sellers who it's not a Don deal for yet, going to go ahead and let everybody know we have 9 properties available for sale right now. So you can go on to viewallhoustonhomes.com, viewallhoustonhomes.com, and take a look at these properties. They have virtual tours. They also have impression counts, like Maya mentioned, so I can tell if you looked at the property. So please don't make me follow up on you and find out. But we're going to start off at 7827 Bobbitt Heights Lane. That's in Spring Branch, 7827 Bobbitt Heights Lane. Check that one out. That's going for $699. Beautiful custom home by Frank Liu and Lovett Homes. And then we got 6910 Spring Run Lane, zone of Seven Lakes High School. That says it all. Seven Lakes High School, 6910 Spring Run Lane. 27923 Bradford Ridge Drive, gated community of Firethorn. 1218 Wildwood Lane, Wood Creek Reserve out in Katy. 3811 Walker Falls out in Fulshire, Cross Creek Ranch. Actually, that's going to be Churchill Farms. And then we have 1914 Ascot Due in the process of writing the contract right now. My seller is ready to move, downsize, and my buyer straight out of LBC, Long Beach, California. Then 7734 Golden Drive. That's out in Lost Creek, and 5925 Alameda in the Mosaic Condominium High Rise. And then 29018 Jacobs River Drive. It's a short sale. All these wannabe investors, you got to be able to identify and capitalize on a good project like 29018 Jacobs River Drive, which is a 3-year-old D.R. Horton home in Tamaron, and it's a short sale, so you can get the biggest bang for your buck. Once again, thanks for tuning in to Don Davis Real Estate Show. We're going to go ahead and head out with some music. Love's going to get you. Love where you live. DDLRG.